Welcome back to the World Championship Series, everybody. We're still here in Cologne. That tower's still here. The beautiful city is still sunny outside, but inside it's dark and gloomy where Colaris likes it the best.
That's actually pretty much true. I am a vampire.
You are a vampire. Welcome back, everybody. We're almost towards the end of the round of 32 for Group F, but we do have something a little bit special today. As you can see, we have some cookies that have been delivered to us by a wonderful lady who cooked them and made them for us previously, but had them delivered to us this time for the round of 32. She goes by the name of @Baratai on Twitter, and she's made 16 cookies for the 16 players. So there's a Zealot, there's a Stalker here, we have a bunch of things here, a Zealot, Colaris, there's a kangaroo over there, right?
You guys thought it was a kangaroo, but it's clearly a Brood Lord.
Yeah, you can see this one here.
Are, so
there's, I think that's a Marauder. That's a Marauder.
That is a Marauder. Yeah.
That's Bling.
That is Bling. You are a High Templar.
And that's Colaris.
That's which one? Oh yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's Colaris. Yeah, we have 16, and each one for a player too. So I don't know who's who of the players, but obviously depending on their race, they have one each. And also on top of that, she made cookies for all the crew. So all the production team, all the commentators, and we have our own cookies.
You seem so reluctant to eat it. Like, we've all got cookies. Just putting it off, delaying it a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, I've already eaten 3, so.
How good is it, Sean?
They're very chewy, and nice. I had a few
Lovely.
before.
I've never eaten a cookie on camera before. I've got a host.
That's true.
I've got a cookie in my mouth. It's serious business time, Group F. Still trying to clear some of it from my teeth.
Need some water, mate.
I feel like I'm going to spray cookie at you in any moment. It's time for the winners match. Zanster versus ForGG. Been looking forward to this. I think a lot of people expected this to be the winners match, Colaris.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes down, because ForGG, obviously, he likes to play at MXL, but when we listened to him in his interview, he was trying to throw out a little bit of difference there to try and throw people off, because it is a full Zerg group. So maybe he brings something a little bit more, trying that is nice, yeah. Maybe he brings something like more bio to the table again. We'll see.
You had another bite. Great.
Just keep going, Bling.
Yeah.
Tell us about the game.
These guys, they've had a little bit of history. Not too much to note, really. It's just a few online tournaments, so you don't usually remember them in team leagues and stuff. You're really enjoying that, aren't you? Yeah, so not too much to note, but Zanster actually has lost 3 times against ForGG in the past and not won a single televised or tournament match. So
it's because ForGG's a beast.
He is a beast. He plays a lot. He's been practicing hell of a ton. Snoots told me that. I didn't actually realise that he was playing so much, but apparently he's really been grinding hard. So yeah, hopefully that he can deliver today, and we can see that practice come into effect.
He's got a lot of work to do. I mean, that's probably why he's been grinding out.
Yeah.
Comes in at rank 29 today, a long way away from top 16, and he needs a win.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, considering that he did not make BlizzCon the last 2 years in a row, it's like, you're ForGG, you're in a region where you're supposed to be dominating, you need to be accruing these points, and so far he hasn't exactly hit that mark. When is it going to happen? Is it this year? He certainly hopes so, and a lot of ForGG fans hope so.
But this next guy has different plans again. I still feel like that, sorry. This guy has some other plans though. Zanster, young guy, debut in the Premier League, started a beautiful series earlier on, 2-0 very, very fast, and he's looking mean, he's looking keen.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, with watching his styles, like from match to match, from matchup to matchup, I think he has a legit shot here. I don't think that ForGG is the formidable tyrant that he once was or people expect him to be. I think Zanster, as you say, he is very keen.
Yeah, Zanster's one of those players as well, like we mentioned before. He's just improved so much over the past year, and it's not necessarily his fundamentals or whatever, but it's just the fact that he's just become so much more he's understood the game a lot more. He's really has adapted and learned the meta, and he's really playing well recently. So 4GG is definitely going to have his work cut out, and I think Zanster's got good chances.
I mean, surely 4GG comes into this a little bit predictable. We kind of know what he likes to do. He's already played a little bit today, but we know he likes to be aggressive early on, Hellion Marines, Hellbats, and then likes to go into Banshee and then Mech usually, right? And when you know that as Zanster, that's already half the battle.
Yeah, I mean, 4GG's been playing that style for as long as I can remember. It's literally been the past 2 years that he's been doing that style. And as we saw in the first map of his last series, he kind of got picked apart because of that. So Zanster, he knows that, and he's definitely going to be keeping that in mind. But I'm sure, like 4GG said in his interview as well, he's going to try and play those mind games as well. So there's going to be a bit of back and forth mind games for sure, but we'll have to see who comes out on top.
Terraform, Coda, and Cactus Valley are the 3 maps that they're going to do battle on.
Terraform, the same starting map as last time. 4GG's most likely going to go for Mech, so maybe Zanster can kind of pick him apart on that one. Coda as well, that's a standard map, and Cactus, another standard map. So the maps aren't too crazy, but I feel like 4GG's style will be kind of predictable on those maps.
But that can be the key to victory because he's playing predictable. I think 4GG might not play to what we expect him to play. You know, that's the beauty of StarCraft.
The mind game,
the mind games of
games.
StarCraft, because he can come into this first map here being Terraform like, you know what, this is a good Mech map. Doesn't mean I don't have to, play Bio here, and he can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, even if it just goes back to the repro opening that he exhibited in the last 2 games that he played against the Zerg, I mean, it's not exactly the most amazing map for it. There's not really that many ways to jump out of the main with that one little spot that people do cover with in other races. Not Zergs, obviously, they can't build a building there. But aside from that, he can still try and get damage done. But I think Zanster is going to be very, very keen on locking that down because of how much damage it did against Ayasonu.
We've seen some fantastic performances from standout players who've joined the system for the first time.
Yeah.
Showtime Season 1, Kung Fu Panda had a brilliant Season 2, of course Lobo as well. Can Zanster be Season 3 or Season 3 star?
I think Zanster could do something here. I definitely think he could even take this series, dare I say.
Yeah. A few people have kind of said that he's got that Lilbo-esque kind of aroma about him. He's been a bit slower to the mark than Lilbo has, but he's still got that up and coming, just kind of came out of nowhere, I guess. Like, he has been around for a while, but now he's really making his mark. So I think now is the time. I think his practice is really going to come into effect, and we can see it, and I think he's going to do well.
All right, very, very brief here. Predictions. Game is ready. Cloris?
I'm going to throw the wild 2-1 out for Zanster. Actually.
Okay, and Sam?
I'm going to agree.
All Zanster fans in the house over here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. It's time to head to the commentary team for this one. This time it's going to be Johan and Jared.
Thank you, Sean, for that analysis. And you guys on the desk, of course, this match coming up is a big one. It is the winners' match. We're going to see if the Swedish champion, the guy who's had a lot of success dominating his national tournaments, can actually bring it up here onto the big stage. His first time in the Premier League, going up against a Korean giant, though. He's going up against 4GG.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool match here, I think, between these two. It feels like it was always meant to happen, as they were definitely the 2 guys the most on form here in this group heading into this.
They've both looked very crisp so far. And we are going to be diving into map 1 between these two to see who comes out first place in this group. First of all, spawning here on the right-hand side, we do see the blue Terran player. It is Millennium's 4GG. Looking focused as ever. He wants to bring this home. He wants to make it through to that top 16 in Katowice, in Krakow, sorry. But first, he has to get through this guy who's looking on point today. Our Swedish representative, up-and-coming Zerg, it is Team Properties Zanster.
It's funny, like, the word mistake you just made, you almost said the first part of T-Drogo right. T-Drogo. You said T. Fun fact, but
The commonly mispronounced names, man.
Going into this match, and with what we've seen from 4GG against Zerg earlier, how do you feel Zanster is going to be able to do?
Well, it was interesting because the guys on the desk were talking about the maps just before, and I was thinking it was a bit of an odd choice to choose Coda on the next map. It was Zanster's pick, right?
Yeah.
And I could be completely wrong, but I feel like he wants to play against 4GG's mech, and I feel like he knows Terraform, 4GG is going to play mech, and Coda is a good mech map. So I feel like he wants to go into it knowing what ForGG is going to play, so he can already have his game plan set out in front of him. He actually vetoed Iron Fortress, which was the map ForGG played Bio on. So I think that's Zanster's plan.
Maybe he's embracing the pain, you know, kind of like at the gym. When you hit these few reps where it's really hurting, but you know you're gonna get the best benefit out of it. Zanster is like, mech is gonna be tough, but you know, if I go through it well prepared, and I guess I do what I have to do, in the end I might come out ahead.
He knows what he's getting into, and interestingly enough, he's actually opening up with a fast pool gas opening, and now going for a hatchery. This is a fascinating build. Of course, ForGG has opened up with a command center first. Zanster, though, it looks like he's going to be opening up with some sort of speedling rush. It looks a lot like the Zerg vs. Zerg speedling build, actually.
Do you think he was able to anticipate a command center first and gets a second extractor? What? Oh, that's an extractor streak, yeah.
Okay. It could just
Really
be the
worried.
relatively fast Ling speed version of the standard pool first, actually. So
Is that good against command center first?
normally it doesn't necessarily give you a specific timing, but you may have a narrow one if you want to commit to a wave of Lings to come in and kind of just force the lift when there's only, of course, 2 Marines out, and the 2 Hellions are a bit delayed with this. But ForGG comes in, gets that information with his SCV, and he does see exactly what's up. So he's going to be completely prepared for that Ling speed timing.
As a Zerg player yourself, and having seen how ForGG played earlier against Zerg, how do you feel if you, say for example, you yourself had to face ForGG, would be the best way to go about facing him? What do you think is going through Zanster's mind? Is it going to be like some solid Roach defense into a longer game, Roach Hydra Viper, if ForGG is to play mech, or does he want to try and play more aggressive, you think?
Well, I think he wants to make sure there's he shuts down any aggression, because ForGG is so crisp. I mean, we saw just Reapers basically winning a couple of his games against IA, so I think he's going to try to be a little bit overly safe, but from his opening, and because it's one of the good options against mech, I'd say we're probably going to be looking at a 2-base muter opening out of him, force the fast anti-air out of ForGG, and try to keep him off that 3rd base.
What about any kind of alliance, like what we saw from Ayasunu on this map earlier?
I think that could be a really good reaction. If ForGG goes for a timing attack, busting across there with a huge amount of roaches could be great. However, because there's a Ling speed out of Zanster, I don't necessarily feel like that's what he'll be going for, but there's still a lot of options open to him. He's definitely got a lot of different directions he could go with this.
Back then he was, I think the 2 command centers also that were started basically from this position here, from ForGG, that really encouraged, I think, this attack by Zanster, by Ayasunu, at a point where he thought he was going to have enough, and he had more than enough. He killed 50 SCVs back then. ForGG this time around, though, not quite messing up with his macro at all. Took a very quick second refinery.
Oh, and interestingly enough, it looks like Zanster is going to be going for that regularly timed fast 3rd base. So we are going to probably see that Hellion Banshee, but also a very fast lair from Zanster. So this is a bit of a tricky build. I like to kind of call this the Hydra style, where it looks like you're going to a 3-base build for the Terran, like the standard economy, but you're also going for muters pretty much as fast as if you're going 2-base muter. So it's a bit greedy. It's a little bit kind of towing that line of teching and building your economy, but if you get away with it, then it is just fantastic. You get muters out so fast and a great economy, it's awesome.
Is ForGG going to be able to raid into this, you think?
It's really hard with that CC first. Notice how he has to pull his first 2 Hellions home, because it takes a long time for these Hellions to get out on the map. So far it looks like ForGG is just going to be going for that Hellion Banshee into a relatively fast 3rd command center timing, and Zanster has set up a trap behind this hedge. He's waiting with the Zerglings for this, and he comes out as the Hellions come up, wraps around one of the Hellions. Oh, the rest of them do just slip away though. Oh, is he going to trap them up against the wall? Zanster gets the 2nd Hellion, closes it down. A nice pickup for Zanster, but he does have to pull back as those Hellions get back into open ground.
So a nice snipe here, and ForGG is going to be starting additional factories behind this. It is indeed going to be mech. No Banshees though, just made a single Viking in the first place. Little pulled Viking here, so to speak, going to be looking around trying to snipe overlords. And these Hellions, oh my god, they're under fire, and he loses another one just to the 2 queens, and he's going to be sacking the other one. What is ForGG? Where are you going?
The Zergling's running alongside for a moment. Oh, he does actually spot the Spire timing, so at least does get some valuable information.
That looked like a misclick, but I guess he was a scout.
I guess it was. It's a little bit odd. I mean, going in at that timing, there was no way he was going to get damage done, so it had to be for scouting, and it did get that valuable scouting, but ForGG has no map presence anymore. He has no map control.
And an Overseer or an Overlord that was morphing into an Overseer actually sneaked past that Viking over there, and he's going to be able to check here the entire main of ForGG by Zanster. He's going to know immediately that he's up against mech, be able to confirm it, Even sees these double additional tech labs here on two of the factories, and probably know that it's going to be, I think, Thor's.
Such valuable information. I mean, this just tells him ForGG will be ready for his Mutalisks, so he doesn't need to focus too much on getting damage done. Instead, we already see 2 evolution chambers down for Zanster, and almost undoubtedly, he will be going for a Roach Warren soon thereafter, and just really powering up on 3 bases into that Roach-based anti-mech play. ForGG's Viking getting a lot of work done here, actually. Really picking up a lot of Vikings. Those Mutalisks really need to spawn sooner rather than later.
Yeah, he's up to quite a few overlords here, Snipe. I think it's 4 in total, 4 kills that he's got.
And if he gets a 5th as well,
Yeah.
that's actually a lot of damage. That really does slow Zanster down here. You know, the Viking's gonna pay for its sins. It is gonna get revenged by those Mutalisks if they can catch it.
Is it normal to delay the Roach Warren by this much, or even Hydra then?
No, it's not, but because he's got Mutalisks out and there wasn't much map control, you know, he does get the Roach Warren down now. He is just going to be not planning to build those Roaches for a little while. He's got some Lings for map control. He's got Mutas out. He knows it's going to be very hard for 4GG to do anything for a while. And he does finally get his revenge on this Viking. About time. Does shut that down.
He's going to catch more. There's 2 more in that position here for 4GG, so these are going to get sniped here by Zanster, and that's going to be a part of the entire 4GG that gets killed. Behind this, he's got turrets in position there. Still, no additional command center from the 3rd one that he went into 4GG, so no sign of a quicker 4th base or anything like that. He's just going to want to start pumping out a lot of units on 3 bases.
Does go for the Muta flyby, does Zanster there, trying to get a full scout off, getting behind. He does want to get some damage done, you know, while the window awaits when there's only a couple of Thors out. Looks like he's going to find a couple of these gas SCVs and then just fly on out of there. I really like how Zanster's dictating the pace of this game so far, but guess what? 4GG's playing mech. Just because he's kind of been pinned back in his side of the map doesn't necessarily mean he's too far behind.
Yeah, adding on double additional factories here is 4GG in the main. Gonna be going up to 5 here pretty quickly. And with this, he's got a pretty scary supply, especially against somebody that's pumping out Roaches, but I guess Zanster hadn't quite gone into heavy Roaches mode just yet. He's got 78 drones to 62 SCV, so it's time to start making only units, I guess, at this point. And with the Hive starting, obviously he's going to want to reach Vipers.
Yeah, I do think that's the plan. Trying to trade off his Zerglings because, of course, their usefulness is kind of not going to last forever. Does kill a couple of SCVs on gas on 4GG's 3rd, and he is going to be heading up for that Hive. Interestingly, only +1 range and going into melee upgrades now. So you can see Zanster's not one of these guys who's going to mass Roach Hydra Viper. He's going to go straight up to the big Queen Ultralisk composition. He's aiming for later on in the game. All Zanster wants to do for the moment is defend, harass a little bit, and control the pace of the game while he techs up.
I was really wondering about this, actually, because there was no Hydra then made, and I really thought he was going to go into Roach, a few Hydras, and then Vipers. But with these upgrades, like you mentioned, how he might want to go into Ultras, and being a Protoss player myself and having faced Zanster before, or even having seen some of his games, he's very, very good with Ultras, Infestors, and Vipers.
Oh, yeah.
Blinding Cloud Fungal is one of the things, I think, one of the best Zergs out. So if he was able to use something, or even like just his Viper control in general against Terran, because Infestors are not always going to be a thing nearly as much as against Protoss, this could get really scary. Zanster has, I think, really good and beautiful late game.
And this is the map to be good with those spells because there's a lot of choke points. You can't rely on just numbers to flank in on a mech army. You really do need to lock them down with those spells. Of course, we do see Vipers on the way now. The Ultra Cavern is down. Interestingly, for 4GG, look at this. His +2 is getting close to done. He's at 170 supply. There's no second armory this whole time. His army has hit a large point, and now is when he wants to go. He wants to get damage done to Zanster. Zanster still hasn't maxed out his Overlord supply, and he just doesn't have a lot of units yet. He needs time for the Ultra Cavern.
Yeah,
he needs to pump out a huge wave of Ultras, but he still doesn't have max supply.
I'm surprised Zanster didn't take down these rock towers there. There's way more supply for 4GG. He's on 110 army supply to 69. Zanster in quite a bit of trouble. He's trying to squeeze out as much as possible, but the Ultralisk Cavern is not finished yet.
Oh, he just needs to buy time. His Roach counterattack is decimating 4GG's 3rd base. 4GG, though, is not giving him that time. He is pushing it hard and fast. And right now on the production tab, we do see 6 Ultralisks. He needs more, 10 Ultralisks, but he has to evacuate the 3rd base. Luckily for Zanster, 4GG's 3rd is being evacuated. This attack needs to do critical damage. challenge, and it really is going to come down to, can those Ultralisks group up? Where are they going to spawn from? Are they going to come in one or two at a time? If ForGG can kill those eggs, can pick them off one or two at a time, that's massive.
Yeah, 4 Ultralisks are about to come out there. They're going to be cancelled on that third base of Zanster. He's still trying to squeeze out as much as possible and still got 6 Ultralisks about to come out. He salvaged the situation very well with evacuating that third base, but Blinding Clouds with the Vipers here should be used in a second if he wants to engage Zanster. Here we go.
He's going to go in. Good Blinding Clouds on the tanks, but he's only got about 5 or 6 Ultras there. The Queen's trying to group up with them. They need to transfuse. The Vikings trying to cut them off. A lot of these Ultralisks are going down. The mech army is standing strong, and this is just not enough Zerg.
Yeah, he's only on 1 upgrades on the Ultralisk as well. There is no Chitinous plating for Zanster. The timing of ForGG was very crisp here. Zanster didn't see this coming, didn't get enough roaches, and he's lost so much already. He's trying to hold on and get as many units as he can to try and definitely eventually hold this. Because back at home, ForGG has held this low roach count that was attacking him.
Yeah, ForGG's taking the other third base. The Ling Ultra trying to come in here. The Lings just evaporate, as do the Ultras. Only a single Thor goes down, and that was the last vestige of hope for Zanster. 7 Ultras in the production tab, but he has to type GG. Such a fierce timing out of ForGG, taking that first game in the series in trademark ForGG style. It's such an important win for him. You know, it looked like that game was going to get tricky, but that timing was perfect for what Zanster was doing.
Yeah, the double scan actually in the main and natural by ForGG. It was just used at a time when the Ultralisk Cavern was, I think, had just started for a few seconds, so he knew that if he moved across the map, or rather if he didn't move across the map, he was going to be in a lot of trouble. Immediately unsieged, moved across the map, and he had way too much. I think when he started moving across the map, he had over 120 army supply against something like 60, 70 for Zanster. So Zanster was always going to be in trouble and just didn't see this coming at all.
Yeah, he's going to have his work cut out for him to bring it back after that. ForGG looking very focused there. You can see the tension right after that match, stretching everything out, stretching his wrists. He knows he needs to play another really crisp game to get through this group. Now we are going to take just a very quick look at the next map, which is going to be Coda here. Of course, it is a very interesting map, a good map for mech. And this was actually Zanster's pick. And we saw in that last game, very nice 2-base muter opening, very good plan with the Zerglings. And he seems like he actually wants to face mech here. I think if he adjusts his build just a little bit from last game, maybe some faster upgrades, I think he's in a good position.
Maybe an all-in in the plans here on a map like this. Something like a Mass Roach could definitely bring him some success, especially if not spotted properly. But ForGG, from that first game that he played today, which was a little bit of a disaster, where he lost 50 SCVs to the Roaches of Asunu, he's definitely picked it up and turned on the machine properly, because from there, he hasn't lost anything.
Yeah.
He did Asunu and now looked pretty good, I guess, in map number 1 against Zanster.
Yeah, it's going to be a really strong play from him so far, but, you know, I felt like at the start of that game, things weren't really going right for ForGG. I feel like it's maybe got to be a kind of boost in his confidence, though. You lose your couple first Hellions, your 3 Vikings get shot down. I mean, sure, you killed a few Overlords with them, but he was really pinned back in his side of the map, and that's not normally how ForGG plays mech. So to still win like that, I mean, it's not only a boost to ForGG's confidence, but Zanster, I mean, he might have felt like everything was going his way, and then suddenly just everything wasn't quite ready in time. He was a little bit surprised by that, and that can be a bit tilting, but looking at his expression, he looks very calm and focused going into this next game. We are about to hop in here. ForGG versus Zanster, game 2. Zanster is 1 game from going down to that deciding match. ForGG 1 game away from progressing in first place in this group. And of course, spawning here on the left side is the man himself, the Blue Terran representing Team Millennium. It is ForGG. Does look to finish off his opponent over here. Of course, the Swedish player representing Team Property. It is Zanster.
I quite like the idea of Zanster, of what he wanted to go for, but just in the end, really got surprised by this timing. I feel like I know. I think you're probably going to agree, or maybe disagree. If he had just made a bunch more roaches, seeing this coming, and just kind of maxed out even on low tier units, and then held this first attack, he would have been in good position with ultras plus vipers and then queens behind him.
I think so. You know, it's one of those positions where, especially, Zanster was actually saying to me earlier today, I was talking to him and saying, "How are you feeling?" He was like, "I feel great. You know, my Zerg vs Zerg's on point. I've been practicing it for all of my Swedish tournaments." He said, I was like, "How about ForGG?" And he said, "You know, I don't mind playing ForGG, but it's just so hard to get practice for him." He's like, "I practice with, you know, a little bit with some Terran players, but he's like, I can't practice with Marine Lord because he's on the same team as ForGG." And he was saying, so he was a little bit iffy, even though he knew he had a plan. It's a bit tricky. And I think I definitely agree that if he did mass out those roaches, crush the first wave of the timing, or at least whittle down the army, then go for the ultra swap, that game could have looked a lot different.
Maybe he could have asked Daishi, even though he's teammate with ForGG.
Daishi might have a little bit of an axe to grind. Yeah. Of course, ForGG picking his teammate Daishi and Challenger and taking him out with a deciding 3-0 is a bit of a drama stir in the community. But you know, you got to do what it takes to win. You got to take your chances where you can. And Zanster once again opening up with pool first. Now this is such a good move because we can see once again from ForGG, as in the previous matches against IA, he is going for Reapers. And how did we see IA lose those games? It was Reapers getting out of control. Now if you open pool first as Zanster, you're basically saying, I don't even need to build that many lings because I'm going to have my queen out so fast, and I'm really going to limit your ability to use that ForGG micro, to use that ForGG Reaper run bys to really annoy me.
Even the speed, I guess, is going to be starting quite early here if you wanted to go for that, and I'm pretty sure he is. So Zanster not wanting to deal with any kind of Reaper annoyance early on in the game.
Not at all.
I want to shut this down completely here from the very start, and positioning both of his overlords towards. I really like, you know, when you spread them out like this, like one behind your opponent's base and one around his natural. I mean, I like it as a spectator, and when I'm playing against the Zerg and they do that properly, and I feel like I can hide nothing, I don't like it nearly as much. But yeah, it's a good move that Zergs can do.
It's the tier 1 observer that Zerg gets. You know, we get the guys that see everything, the floating blobs with eyes. Their only job is to provide brain food and to watch everything our opponents are doing. Of course, the overlords. You know, how you use those is such a key part of how you play Zerg. The Reaper for ForGG, you can see this. It does see the gas. It gets a bit of scouting done. The pressure though has been absolutely minimal. Such clean defense from Zanster. I mean, it's just the build he's chosen. He's saying, I'm not going to give you a chance to exert your mechanics over mine. I know you're fast. I know you're good at being aggressive, but I'm not going to let you get in your element.
Oh, he's going to sack the Reaper, looks like. Zanster.
ForGG, he's always known to be a little bit YOLO with it, and the drone arrest there in the mineral line. Zanster getting on top of that, shutting that down. He's saying, no way, man, you can't get away with this. You can't pull my attention. And he does shut that down quite cleanly. Both players macroing up quite hard here. Once again, a fast starport for ForGG is the option, and potentially looks like we may be seeing that Hellbat timing that he's a big fan of, because we do see Marines still building. Marines, Hellions, if we see an Armory and maybe a Medevac queue up soon, looks like that will be a very good chance of that happening.
Yeah, Lixpies are going to catch at least one SCV there on natural base. Oh, no, not even, actually. Didn't chase far enough, and two of those four boys are going to get punished for it. We do have the Medevac queue now, but did ForGG not forget his armory here?
Well, interestingly, he's dropped a second gas, which I find a bit odd. So what I think he's going to do is swap into Banshee follow-up.
Yeah.
So it looks like he might just do like a Marine drop in the back of the main, Hellions run in the front, follow that up with a cloaked Banshee. This is a very popular way of executing it. You know, Flash used to do this a lot last year in Korea. Became very popular. It's always good to rotate in. If the Zerg isn't really on top of everything, it can be very hard for them to read it. And of course, Zanster, he's seen a bit of what's going on, but he doesn't have too much information, and his Zerglings, they're across the map in an aggressive position.
There's nothing at the watchtower in the middle of the map here for Zanster, so there is a chance that this reaches his base. He's completely not ready. He only has a few queens here to defend, no links back at home. Zanster could be in quite a bit of trouble here if he has to cross the entire map here to defend properly against this.
Interestingly, ForGG is leaving his Hellions at home, almost like he knows the Lings are in position to counterattack. But the Overlord sees them, so Zanster leaves his Lings at the third base. He's just waiting for those Hellions to move out. And seeing that they're not about to, looks like he may just bring them home. I'm not sure. Looks like the Medevac's going to go in the main.
Yeah, Armory did finally start, by the way. I don't think that the 6 Marines are going to do too much here against 4 Queens ready and in position. Spire is going to start now here for Zanster. So this already has been a a very different kind of game here in map number 2 than what we saw in map number 1.
Absolutely, and very clean defense from Zanster so far. ForGG hasn't been too serious about his pressure just yet, picking up a few overlords around the edges, but it's the next wave which aims to hit hard. That armory is getting close to done, and this is such a ForGG timing he's going for. He is still building Hellions. He's going to go up to over 10 Hellions. Meanwhile, though, Zanster's Ling counterattack is coming in just as the Hellions are getting across the map, and this is going to absolutely devastate this natural. Is ForGG going to go home, or is he going to commit to this?
He's not even macroing his SCVs here back at home trying to defend or anything. He's just going to counterattack with everything that he's got. He's got a ton of Hellbats, Marines, and one single Medivac. Zanster, he has to do all he can to hold, but he has no Baneling left.
There's no Baneling. That's the Zerglings running into the Hellbats. There's no way just Queens can hang on against that number of Hellbats. I mean, he needs transfuses on the spine, but he's only got one saved up right now. And with the Medivac healing everything, I mean, nice Ling flank from the Marines, but the Banshee in the main is killing drones. The Queens are starting to go down. There's still so many Hellbats.
Yeah, he needs something like a Spine or two there. The Spire is finally going to finish, but even if Utah start now, these drones are going to start getting fried. He needs to evacuate. Zanster loses 18 drones pretty much instantly with that one Banshee in the main, getting 11 kills as well.
And the Hellions are still alive. They're going back into Hellion form. They're running into the third base. They are chasing down these drones. The Banshee in the main did go down finally, but there's just no economy left for Zanster. This is a disastrous situation.
He's broke as well. It's not like he can start like a huge chunk of drones here. He's going to sending his links here to try and kill these Hellions and get a few of them. We've got a few Mutas in production, 5 in total, but both players have lost so many workers, but in the end, 27 SCVs against 12 drones. ForGG gets the much better end here of the deal.
Oh, that's game-ending damage. It really is. I mean, we see a couple of Mutalisks out for Zanster, but is that really going to do it when you've got a 30 SCV Terran? He's got double Mule dropping. He's got a Thor on the way, multiple Vikings out, and he's already got a Medivac position.
He's going to find a Medivac.
The Medivac's going to get shut down. That's a nice pickup for Zanster as Zanster tries to drone up. The Hellions are going to unload and just run past, but the Zerglings with the nice wraparound.
Are going to get the kills here on these Hellions. Zanster, unless he can do a lot of damage here right now, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. But there are turrets ready in ForGG's base. He's getting Thors, he's getting Viking. He's already got one single Thor and 2 Vikings. Zanster in so much trouble, trying to drone back up, but his mineral lines are like the most depressing thing ever.
Yeah, this is a sad position as a Zerg player. There's just not a lot you can do. You don't have enough economy to really be flexible. You've just got to build drones and try to get some damage done with your Mutalisks. Try to keep your opponent at home. But ForGG, he senses weakness. He isn't going to give him time. I mean, looks like he's going back with his Thor and Hellbats, but I mean, he's got so much more economy. He can take a bit of time if he wants to. The Vikings can pretty much fight these Mutalisks even outside of missile turret range. One Mutalisk goes down, 2 Mutalisks go down. This is all Zanster has to keep ForGG back.
Zanster, he wants to start a third base on location. I mean, he's Zerg, but he has a drone there, but he has no minerals. It's so funny. That drone was there for like a whole minute and not able to start that because he had no minerals at all. He lost so many drones. And now Zanster is back up to 36 to 40 SCVs, but ForGG, he's got a third command center on the way. He's not going to be taking any economic damage anytime soon. He's going to add on factories, even actually 2 more command center himself. So ForGG is just in a fantastic position.
Trademark 4th command center, of course, down for ForGG. He loves going his 4CC into mech. I'm never sure. I think we really need to ask him what the boys on the analysis desk do. Is that planned, or is it just because he, floated a bit of minerals in the
What do you think he would admit it? That's a better question.
Yeah, would he even admit it? You never know with these pro gamers, man. They're sneaky types. The Vikings there just hedging around the base, keeping back Zanster. And, the production's kicking in. 3 more factories are down. Meanwhile, Zanster's adding on his 4th queen. It's just so far behind for him. What Zanster needs to rely on to get back in this game is he needs to continue to just see, look, there's no third base for ForGG. If I can just drone back up, get a big army off about 65 drones, 66 drones. Maybe with a great engagement, I can deal with his army. And we can actually see the plan forming in Zanster's mind. He's upgrading Burrow and he's getting Banelings and Baneling speed. So it looks like he wants to set up a huge Baneling trap. Somehow detonated underneath the mech army, wrap around with Ling Bane. And
like the Destiny video.
Yeah, pretty much.
Foreseen. But it's interesting that he was going to go for a roach war and then he canceled this. He's like, nah, you know what? Just nah. Let's try something else.
I mean, it makes sense. Zanster's a smart player, and he's a guy who has his own styles. He understands how to play the game a bit differently to just set standard. And that's what you need to do when you're this far behind. He doesn't want to just give up here. He wants to do anything he can do to get back in it. But ForGG's Banshee is just pushing Hope further and further away, picking up 10 kills, and it does get out of there alive. That is just so devastating.
Zanster is down to 56 drones, to 55 SCVs against a Tian that's on 4 orbitals. Pig. This is pretty bad news.
This is massive. I mean, Zanster, he wants to get out of this group, and, his chances of getting to first place are getting smaller and smaller, but he doesn't want to give up now. We've seen him between games, even after his losses. He looks very focused at playing out there on stage, and he wants to give it his all. ForGG, on the other hand, just wants to close this out in the most calm, reliable way possible. He was saying he's got a lot of Zergs to play. He doesn't want to show too many builds, but looks like...
if he sees the Banelings, this is massive.
Oh, he actually spotted that with the Banshee. And
he scans. This is a massive tell. I think from this point onwards, he knows that unless something goes really badly, he's got this game in the bag here, ForGG.
Seeing no Hive on the way, he thinks, well, yeah, you're going Lings and Ling upgrades, but you're not going to have Ultras anytime soon, so I can take my time.
That's a double KO, by the way.
Double KO. The Queen and the Banshee going down simultaneously. They just love to fight for their side, and they die doing it. It's a happy death for the Queens anyway, because they'll just be reborn somewhere else. Meanwhile, we see Blue Flame kicking in. Looks like, is the Ling Bane they're not going to go for this round. That many Hellions is really scary.
Off creep might be a little bit dangerous.
Well, I was hoping he'd use the hedge there, try to come in from kind of both sides of the hedge, but there we go. That's the burrow, but it's on creep. He's gonna scan there,
I'm pretty
surely.
sure that ForGG is supposed to scan there, especially since you already saw the amount of Banelings.
Oh no. Zanster's plan starting to fall apart. This is just so tricky for him. He's trying to make some magic happen, but now ForGG has been alerted to the trump card, the burrowed Banelings, and he is not going to take any chances with his army. There is no way he's going to ball that up and just walk that down the middle of the map anymore.
Actually, how long do you think he's going to wait for? Does he wait until it's just maxed out? I guess as ForGG here, you're happy to not attack for as long as possible, as long as Zerg's not taken to Hive, because surely when you're maxed out, is the Zerg still on lair tech? You're going to demolish him when you're maxed out on mech.
That is true, but ForGG normally loves to push out right around 170 supply, so that timing is coming up pretty soon here, and he just doesn't want to make the mistake that we saw, actually, I think it was Innovation making a recent televised match in Star League, where he just kind of left the Zerg too long, and I mean, you don't want to let Zanster max out here yourself either. Sure, you're playing the slower composition, but why take your time when you know you've got such an army advantage? I do want to see ForGG start to push pretty soon. Interestingly, ForGG has been supply blocked for a little bit here. I think he has a few units queued up, and he's just waiting for command centers to finish for supply. A little bit of a miss macro there.
Yeah. The push spread has been negated quite a bit, by the way, with that right-hand side, those right-hand side tumors getting sniped eventually.
We do see the melee upgrades continuing for Zanster. We see
he's still not starting any depot, by the way.
3 starports going down for ForGG. Is ForGG having a bit of fun now? He's really taking his time. Maybe he just doesn't want to take any chances. Maybe, like you said, seeing he's up against a lair tech mutiling-based Zerg, maybe he just thinks, wow, let's just take my time.
He wants to have fun while advancing, I think.
Yeah, maybe get some battle cruisers on the way, potentially.
Make the fans happy. Prove to Avilo he was right all along.
I'm sure that's ForGG's goal in life. That's why he came here to Cologne to play.
He's a big fan, watches his stream every day.
Once again, nice scan. Sees the Banelings trying to trap those Hellions, and oh my gosh, when there's that many blue flames, oh no, so many Banelings going down for Zanster. ForGG is just on the money right now. He knows what's going on. He's even sending a Hellion counterattack to the bottom left at the same time as this, but there's no drones down there just
22 mutas. What is he hoping to achieve with this?
Well, when you're going up against Hellion Thor en masse with Mutiling Bane, you're having a bad day. Oh, the Lings wrapping around a lot of these Hellions. Going to get a nice round on the back half, but those other Hellions behind those mineral line are still looking very dangerous. Zanster has to back off.
ForGG is getting rid of that fourth base, though, on the bottom left-hand side with a bunch of Hellbats, and more and more mutas are being made, and I think so far Zanster has hit all of them. He's finally going to reveal them here, but...
Oh, the old 4 Hellbats snipe on the base. You don't want to show your Mutalisks to this 4 Hellbats, but he's already done it. Oh, you can see the desperation there.
Yeah, there's already 8 Thors out 4G is getting 3 more. He's got an unlimited amount of turrets in the main.
And so many Vikings as well to support all of this. This is going to be an impossible task for just 23 unupgraded Mutalisks. I mean, I think they have 1 Carapace upgrade. That's about it. 1 Muta already goes down. He does pull out of that base. We do see building armor has already finished, and the Vikings and Thors come in, intercept 2 Mutalisks going down. This is such a powerful position for ForGG, and yet he continues to pull back and wait. ForGG is taking his time with this one, and Zanster, he's looking for the engage. He's staying on Mass Ling Bane Muta because he thinks ForGG is going to push, but ForGG playing completely against his image and just saying, I'm going to take my time, man.
He's having way too much fun for his own good here. He's actually hasn't maxed out in a very long time because he didn't have enough supply available to be made, and Zanster is going to be happy to do this counter attack here, doing a lot of damage on this base. ForGG has been making a lot of buildings, a lot of turrets and static defense, so he's actually not built quite a big bank in terms of minerals.
Yeah, a little bit odd. I mean, he's mining 5 bases, so a 5-base turn, I mean, as long as they can stay on that, they can do pretty much whatever they want. And meanwhile, on the bottom left-hand side, Zanster, that 4th base died to just 4 Hellbats before, and now a single Banshee looking like it's about to do the same thing. This is devastating for Zanster. I mean, he's got another 4th base going up in the middle, but this is just so painful, and it looks like no cancel. 300 minerals down the drain.
I don't know about Magic Boxing this amount of Thors big. Might be a little bit hard.
I'm not sure that's going to work, man. I think this is the one where you're looking for the magic Baneling hits. If you can take out all the Hellions, the Zerglings can clean up the rest. Now, that's a pretty big ask, but there's actually not that many Hellions in this army right now. How many Hellions do we see on the map, Todd?
We've got 14 Thors, 10 Vikings, and 2 tanks here for ForGG, who's losing a bunch more SCVs. He's going to be happy to be replacing those here with units instead, I think.
I mean, the Mutalisks are chewing up valuable army supply, and they can't really do anything in the actual engagement. But I just feel like with only a few Hellions, like maybe there's a fighting chance for Zanster, but I mean, he's not even maxed out and down 50 army supply. Like, okay, yeah, that's pretty unlikely. Does surround the blue flames at the front, so it is just Lings versus Thors, but there's almost as many Thors as there are Zerglings, and that's not something you see every day in WCS.
Yeah, there's a few Banelings, but how much can they really do against this many Thors? I don't think too much.
They're Banelings. Even when the Thors are clumped up a little bit like this, it's not massive. And you see, this is just... He kills about 4 or 5 Thors, but there goes your Zergling army. And I mean, it was actually a great trade for Zanster considering, but he just doesn't have the economy to take those regular trades. And those missile turrets are making mincemeat out of these Mutalisks. 1 Thor goes down, but already almost half the Mutalisks are dead. The Ling Bane crashing in one more time, trying to save the 5th base, but there is just too many Thors, and Zanster is forced to type out GG, victory for ForGG. Taking a commanding 2-0. to make it out of this group. A 2-1 win in his first series, 2-0 in the second one. ForGG does advance. We are going to be seeing him in just a couple of weeks' time over in Poland at the WCS Finals. A hard loss there for Zanster, but he's not out yet. He is going to be playing in that deciding match up next, of course. So Zanster does look, slightly annoyed at how that game went down, but he did show some good play, and he's still got another chance in the following match.
He's going to get an opportunity to I guess, showcase his CVC once again against Asonu to try and advance. And ForGG in the end, like I said, he had a little bit of a rocky start in today's game, but definitely picked up from there and didn't really lose a single map. Even had some fun in that last one.
Yeah,
a bunch of starports, made a lot of static defense. Almost looked like one of my Warcraft 3 games at some point here for some time.
It was really crazy, actually, because you don't see that from ForGG. You think like, he's ahead, he's going to go kill him. And you could see Zanster anticipating this attack, and he's trying to burrow Banelings in the middle of the map. I mean, I still wish he somehow got the burrowed Banelings up it right outside kind of the 4th base and somehow made it happen just for the, the viewers. But ForGG just closed that out bit by bit. The Hellions basically just whittling down Zanster, and it was a clean victory. Very confident. And of course, let's hear from the guys over on the analysis desk now about that game. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Jerry. Joined by ForGG first place finisher today. Congratulations, an awesome job as always. But you said it was going to be easy today, and you cleared it up nice and easy. Did you even have any struggles? Did you feel at one point today, this is a little hard, or was it easy all the way?
No, today I think everything is what I think before. Everything is good.
Sam did have a game a question, sorry, about the games. A mind game question. Go ahead, ask him.
A mind game question.
Ask him.
So talk to me about these mind games, because you said after your first series that you wanted to play a little mind games with your opponent, but you kind of did the same builds on Terraform. You did exactly the same opener, and then on the second map on Coda, you did your kind of standard hellbat push again. So was that mind games, or was it just your standard play?
No, actually, I changed build. Second game seems like same build, but I make 3 factories very fast, so I can also defend some roach push. But before I play him, he didn't use roach, so I think I just second game I use hellbat, and yeah, mind game is work.
Okay, and another thing, the 4 CCs. Is that a planned build, or is that just because you're floating too many minerals? Talk me through that.
No, actually I make my build. It's only I use like take second base after make 2 more command center, and then like use some mule. This build is pretty good.
Okay.
How far are you going this season? Realistically, I know you want to get to the final, but how far do you think you can go? The same?
Depends which group I have.
What are you scared of the most? Is it the Pult, the Hydras? Is it a certain race?
All Korean player always strong.
So if you get a group with 3 non-Koreans, easy peasy lemon squeezy?
Easy.
Yeah? So in the quarterfinals, even easier? If no Koreans, every game easy?
No, basically, all foreigner also good, but yeah, for me, easy.
Okay, so if there was to be a European player that you didn't want to go against, who would it be? Is it let's say Snoot maybe advances tomorrow. Would that be a player you'd be not willing to play, or doesn't matter? Everybody's the same.
Basically, I don't care who is my group. Basically, or every player is strong. That's why everyone passed round of 32. So I don't care.
All right.
How about this one? Would you like a rematch with Gung Fu Panda?
I hope.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's the one guy who does want in his group. All right, thank you very much, ForGG. Congratulations. You will be going to Poland to play at the season finals. We look forward to seeing you then. Hope you can perform as good as you did today. Ladies and gentlemen, ForGG, who goes through in first place today from Group F, which leaves us with 1 final slot remaining. Who's going to take it? Let's find out after the break.